Good morning. This is the time and place for the zoning administrator's hearing for November 19, 2008. My name is Edith Fuentes, and I will be conducting the hearing as hearing officer. We have two cases today, and relevant exhibits are posted on the panels located directly behind me. Let me just quickly go through our hearing procedure. Under the provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30 of the Glendale Municipal Code, a conditional use permit shall be granted if four required findings are present. 1. That the proposed use will be consistent with the elements and objectives of the general plan. 2. That the use and its associated structures and facilities will not be detrimental to the public health or safety, the general welfare, or the environment. 3. That the use and facilities will not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede the normal development of surrounding property. And 4. That adequate public and private facilities will be provided for the use. For applications involving sales, service, or consumption of alcoholic beverages, there are also 5 criteria that should be considered in making the findings. If the evidence presented in the application and at the hearing meets the criteria just described, then the zoning administrator can either approve or impose conditions for approval on the case in question. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices, which were mailed to property owners located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. The hearing will proceed as follows. I will read a description of the application or the request, and then read reports received from other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. The applicant will be asked to come forward stating both name and address, and will be asked to present the case within a 15-minute time limit. Others in support of or in opposition to the application and any interested parties will be asked to come forward to speak. Again, clearly stating both name and address, and will be asked to present the case or their opposition or support within a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments, if desired, in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers within a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will be closed and the case taken under submission. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. I would like to emphasize that the date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from our Building and Safety Section Permit Services Center located on the same floor of this building. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of these speaker forms, which have been provided by the front door, and submit it to our planning assistant. I would like to also inform everyone that the official proceedings of the zoning administrator's hearing are recorded on tape as part of public record. Our first case is Conditional Use Permit 2008-037. Location is 1618 Heather Ridge Drive. Property owner is Zorik Garibian. This is an application for a conditional use permit to construct a new two-story single-family residence on a lot having a lot width of less than 80 feet located at 1618 Heather Ridge Drive in the R1R Restricted Residential Zone, Floor Area Ratio District 2, described as Lot 56, tract number 21819. The existing one-story single-family residence and attached two-car garage existing and located on the lot will be demolished to give way for this new construction. And let me just quickly go through some of the comments we received. From fire prevention, they will require fire sprinklers permit and landscaping permit. From GWP Electrical Engineering, they're just requesting that the developer contact them regarding restrictions as to the size of electric service to the residents. From engineering section, a grading permit may be required. Method of discharge of on-site drainage shall be approved by the city engineer. Any new driveway apron shall be constructed to city standards. Remove and replace all broken and damaged street improvements to city standards. Separate permits are required for all work within the public right-of-way, and applicants shall bear all fees for necessary permits and construction inspections. And the applicant shall comply with all NPDES requirements. From our integrated waste management, the applicant must comply with the Glendale Municipal Code construction and demolition waste reduction and recycling plans. Okay, and those are all the comments that I have. And case planner Rudder, is there anything else that I should be aware of or should know about the project? No major issues or concerns? Okay, thank you. Okay, to present the case, Mr. Edward Hagobian.
Good morning, Mr. Fuentes. My name is Edward Hagobian. I am the architect of this project. My address is 220 South Kenwood Street, Suite 210, Glendale 91205. As you mentioned, we are here today for the width of the lot, which is 75 feet, and that's short by 5 feet. Other than that, the size of the lot, according to the code, that the minimum requirement is 7,500 square foot. The size of this lot is 14,212 square foot. The slope of the lot is only 13.9%, so we do not have any variance to file. However, also the design of the house is in a way that we don't have any variance to file for the setback, height, or any other zoning standards. Regarding the findings, the first question is how will the proposed use be consistent with the various elements and objectives of the general plan? The general plan designation for this location is low-density residential use. So proposed use is consistent with the objectives of the general plan. Second finding, why will the proposed use and its associated structure and facilities not be detrimental to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the environment? Proposed use is a single-family residence, and no dust, odor, hazardous materials, excessive noise will be generated during the construction and after final completion. Therefore, proposed use is not detrimental to public health and safety. 3. Why will the proposed use and facilities not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede the normal development of surrounding properties? Proposed use is the same as the adjacent and all other properties on that neighborhood. So there is no conflict between this use and the other uses in the entire area. As I mentioned before also, that the setbacks will be more than what is required, and other standards, minimum standards requirement by the code will exceed that, like landscaping or other things. 4. Explain how adequate public and private facilities such as utilities, landscaping, parking spaces, and traffic circulation measures are or will be provided for the proposed use. I have to mention here that right now, the way we enter to the parking of this house is in a way that they have to back up to the street. But with the new design, we have enough space to kind of back up and turn around and go out of the property head on, not back up to the street. All the public utilities are there. And as you mentioned about these comments from the other departments, we'll respond to all the comments of the different departments, like fire department, engineering department, building department, zoning department, will satisfy all of these requirements. Fire sprinkler, of course, obviously, since it's a new building, will be installed. Power department, yes, we have to contact them to have the new location of the electric meter. And most probably will upgrade the existing condition of the electrical issue. Yes, of course, we have to submit a grading plan, MPDS, drainage, and all other issues, and will respond to all of those. Statement of additional facts related to the conditional use permit request. Well, that's obvious that by passing the time, the zoning codes, fire code, building codes are changing and becoming more and more restricted, and because of that, the houses that are already in that street, they have, I don't know exactly how many of them, but most probably some of them, they don't have the fire sprinklers, and structural issues like the new structural codes that is changed from UBC to IBC, which is International Building Code, and this house will be designed according to all different codes of the fire, building, zoning, engineering, and that will be a difference between this house and some of the houses in that neighborhood. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say, except that we have set back the house by far. The garage is in the front of the house, and the doors of the garage are not facing the street, so the garage doors are not kind of facing the street, so there will be a window, I believe, towards the street. from the garage, and the house is, since the garage is a three-car garage, so the house is about 30 feet behind the garage, so the setback is something like about, I would say, 45 feet plus. And that will hopefully give a better design feature to the design we were to approve this project. During this time, we tried to contact the neighbors. One of them, we had an appointment, but they were not at home that day. Apparently, they were busy. And one of these neighbors called me, and we talked about an issue of the privacy, and if necessary, we will close that side of the balcony that is facing the neighbor's house. Now that we have that aerial photo, I can see the location of the swimming pool of the neighbor better, because we tried to see that from our side, but it's such a dense vegetation there that was not at least easily possible to see exactly where is that swimming pool and how it's related to this house. May I come close and show that?
Sure. I was going to ask you a couple of things to kind of walk us through the site plan. And if you can explain to me those lines that shows a couple of them off the property, one is going inside the property, those
Yes.
white, and then explain to us the difference with the existing building.
These are the lines that you mentioned. These are the retaining walls, existing retaining walls in this property. By the way, the materials on this, this
One is shown as being outside
Yes.
the property?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the neighbor's or yours?
I believe this is the neighbor's wall, because it's totally inside the neighbor's property.
Okay.
At least if, I don't know, I cannot think of that, it will belong
And
to
this
us.
one?
And this one is inside our property. The property line is here.
Okay.
So that's inside our
And
property.
the other one at the bottom?
At the bottom, of course, this is in our
No, I
property.
mean this one right there.
This one is also in our property, and there is a distance between this wall and the property line.
Okay, because you didn't color it the same as your property, so I was
That was
wondering.
my mistake. Yes.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Yes, that was my mistake here.
Okay.
This is, I believe the steep slope starts from here going down to the neighbor's
I know,
house.
the property slopes. And basically, the changes, the existing garage right now faces directly onto the street.
Yes.
And the way you had it designed is it's sideways, so you don't see the garage. Okay.
Yes.
And this is the front elevation that you kind of
This is the
see
front
from the street.
Is the window of the garage.
The garage, okay. Versus this one elevation.
Our neighbor's concern was,
If you, I think you can
yes,
show it there. Don't
Yes,
use
yes,
the,
I know.
yeah, I know you know. You can use one of the pens down there. I think.
this is the property.
Okay.
Am I right? Yes. And this is the neighbor's property that we were, called me, and they were concerned about the privacy.
Okay. Yeah.
I hope I can show you in this elevation. This is the balcony that might have some view. By the way,
It's
our
too low, so-
second floor
You
totally
want
up.
to put that elevation up here so you can. Don't put any plans below this desk because they can't see it and the camera can't see it too. So.
Okay.
Put it over there. Okay. You can relate to the plan and then to the elevation. Thank you. You can refer to the plan and then to the elevation. Which side is staircase and
I
which
don't
side?
see the second floor plan. Did we cover it?
It's here.
It wasn't put up. Because the second floor plan shows that our upper level is set back 15 feet. It's here. The first floor is 10-foot setback from the property, and the second floor is 15-foot setback.
Okay,
And that balcony that is concern of the neighbor is here.
okay.
And I talked to the owner, which is this opening here. And he agreed that we'll close at least to the eye level, so nothing can be seen in this direction, which will be this view here.
Okay.
I guess, if I'm not wrong, our neighbor's concern was more this balcony here. I think that balcony has no view of the swimming pool here.
There's your second floor. Thank you.
Now, that clearly shows that, first of all, this is the only bathroom that is 10 foot from the property line, but there's no window here. The only window, the opening we have is this one here, and a very small window here. And the reason usually I do this with other projects is that we get enough light for the front of the room, but we need a little bit more light on the back, and that's the only window, small. And
that's set back, and that's,
set back
yeah, right
is
there.
15 foot from the
Okay.
property line. That's all I have.
Okay, good. I'm assuming the existing swimming pool is going to stay the way it is, and no additional structure or anything at the back or at the rear of the property?
Yes.
Everything's
Everything
open?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
One more thing that,
Okay.
of course, the driveway now, but the driveway we have now is just a plain concrete, and that will be decorative material, which is like paving stones, which is not only beautiful, but also it drains the rainwater.
It's permeable.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. You haven't been before Design Review Board for preliminary or conceptual approval?
Not yet.
Not yet. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Michael Andrews.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Michael Andrews, and I live at 1612, which is the house that he was speaking about.
You're
And
the one.
basically-
You're the one he tried to contact, or
Yeah, we've had a
You've
discussion. I
spoken?
mean, mainly I'm here because I just wanted to formally say I live next door, and we have concerns about privacy.
Mhm.
Because I just want to make it formal, basically, and sort of introduce myself into the design process, because the house that we have is a very low house, and
Mhm.
because of the way that the houses are designed on the street, it's fairly, if we look here, I just want to show you. My concern is, well, let me just do it on television.
It's okay.
Right, I'll tell you.
I understand.
Well, what's happening is that our lot is about 10 or 15 feet below grade, below their
Mhm.
house. And I'm afraid once the setback of the garage is put in there, that actually both of the balconies are a concern.
Mhm.
Our house is a post and beam, and it's all glass. The entire...
Let me ask you a question, because I'm the first step.
No, I know. I mean,
entire
basically, I just
process.
wanted it to be recorded.
I want to ask you exactly, as far as the lot width, which is the issue before me today,
Mhm.
do you have any issue with that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Now, as far as design is concerned, I will make note of those couple of balconies and your privacy issue and everything.
I will deal
However,
with that.
the best place to really address that is before the Design Review Board, which will be the longest process, I think, that
Okay.
will, and, but I will make note of your issues, your concerns,
Okay.
and I will also advise you continue dialogue with the architect and the property owner, so.
Yeah, I mean,
all-
I think that we were supposed to have a meeting, but there was actually a mix-up. I didn't
Okay.
feel like it was formally scheduled, so we weren't even in town.
And I will make them take note that I myself is requesting that they meet with you personally so they can address a lot of your issues. And I would like, if you would like to call me back, let me know what's happening, then
Okay.
that'll be
Yeah.
okay.
We-
Or
yeah, there
your
hasn't
case
really been-
planner.
There hasn't been any resistance. I mean, it's not like there's been
Okay.
any resistance. I just wanted to make it formal, that's all, so that not only are we communicating, but we're communicating
We're
with the
putting
city.
it on record.
Yeah, okay, that's all.
Okay, good.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Okay, is there anybody else here? Thank you. And you can, and this is Sherry Beckman.
Yes, I live on the other side, 1624 Heather Ridge Drive. And I wasn't going to say anything because I'm in accordance with everything. I was worried about the setback and privacy too, but you're dealing with property line. I don't understand, is that they're going to build something over our, what is that, over the property line there?
They're showing the existing retaining walls. Those.
They're not going to be going over anything.
No, nothing. They're not allowed to anyway. They cannot encroach into your property. That's one of the reasons I brought that question up, is just to make clear what they're showing me are existing retaining walls, and there's no work being done on those retaining
Those will
walls.
stay the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that and privacy was my main concern.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else here who would like to speak in support or in opposition to this application? This is on Heather Ridge. You can do that later on. Give me your name and address for the record.
My name's Jen, Jen Chen. I live in 1611 Heather Ridge Drive, which is across the street from Mike and Heather. My concern is, I understand it's probably not today's hearing. My concern is mainly about noise levels, and then when you said no excessive, noise, what period of the day are we talking about? That kind of thing is my main concern.
Well, we have a noise ordinance which allows them to do construction from beginning of like 7 a.m., I think, to 10 or 11 p.m., but I'm sure they will have those, and it's not for me also,
Right.
so they're going to have to work with engineering and public works and building and safety. They will be monitored, and I think if they want to be a good neighbor, they're going to take all those into consideration
Right,
as
and
far
also-
as you sleeping early
Oh,
or
no, it's not
waking
that.
up
It's just
late.
that, as you can tell, they're about to have a baby, and we have a 2-year-old, so
That's-
that's
yeah.
always a concern. And also, we
Yes.
just moved to the neighborhood like 4 months ago, and, mainly it's because the neighborhood is so quiet and it's lovely.
I know.
And as well as, just foot traffic in general,
Yeah, and unfortunately, when there's a construction, there will be regular noise and dust and all those type of things, but they're going to
Exactly.
try their best to minimize that, and hopefully they will operate within the ordinance that we have in place.
Thank you.
But thank you for letting us know of your concerns. You can fill out one of the... Anybody else who would like to speak in support, raise concerns, issues? Closing comments, Mr. Hagobian?
One more question.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
I would like to invite the neighbors to any place in my office or their home, whenever, wherever, to, if they have any questions, we will be glad to answer those questions, so they will be educated. If I would say yes, we'll be ready and happy to help them to get familiar, educated about all this process.
And is he the owner?
Yes, he is the owner.
Okay, I just want to make sure you see the face and he's been a good neighbor. Okay, good. And I think a nice cup of coffee or tea would be nice, and to discuss
Yes.
some of the concerns.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead, take this case under submission, and we'll let you know. Thank you very much for coming. Our last case is conditional use permit 2008040. Location is 831 East Colorado Street. Applicant is Williams Land Use Services, and property owner is Afik Hunanian. This is an application for a conditional use permit to allow sales. This is on-site sales, service, and consumption of beer and wine within an existing full-service restaurant located at 831 East Colorado Street in the C3 Commercial Service Zone, Height District 1, described as portion of Lot 16, Block 4, Glendale, Orange Grove Tract. And let me just quickly go through some of the comments we received. From Police Department. The major issue or concern is that the location census tract is oversaturated with on-sale alcoholic establishments and that the location is immediately adjacent to residential units, creating the possibility of noise and other related complaints. Excuse me. From Neighborhood Services. They are recommending a couple of conditions if the application will be approved. And it all concerns about smoking indoors. No smoking to be allowed indoors. Smoking shall not be permitted within 20 feet of all entrances, exits, and open windows. And smoking shall not be permitted at more than 25% of the total sitting capacity of the outdoor dining area. I think that's the new smoking ordinance that we have in place. It just got approved. Other than that, no major issues or concerns. Do you have your speaker card, Ms. Williams? And the case planner is here, Ms. Jale. So do you have anything else to add or any major issues or concerns or communications? No. Nothing? Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Fuentes. My name is Janelle Williams, 2418 Honolulu Avenue in Montrose. I've read the department comments. I don't know what to say about the neighborhood services comments. I guess we'll deal with that in the future. But as for the police department comment, the use is buffered by a parking lot, which places it probably 70 to 80 feet away from residences. We do have with us some petitions that were signed by patrons of the restaurant. Some of them have written hand notes, and others have simply signed a petition. But a representative note here, I'm a regular customer at Hookah Lounge. They're very professional and responsible in everything that they do. Having a beer and wine license would definitely improve this restaurant. It is a full-service restaurant, and I will just hand you these petitions. Also, a copy of the menu for your file.
Thank you.
I'd like to go now into the findings. As you know, we have to make 4 findings, and I think that we can make them with this use. How will the proposed use be consistent with the various elements and objectives of the general plan? The Hookah Lounge restaurant is by nature and by design a restaurant with a unique lounge-type atmosphere with high-quality, authentic Mediterranean food. Whether you come for the hookah, for filet mignon, shish kebab, or both, you will undoubtedly have a memorable experience there. The Hookah Lounge restaurant, located at 831 East Colorado, is a place where patrons come to smoke hookah, since there are so few places where this cultural activity is allowed. It's a full-service restaurant located on Colorado Street, which is classified as a major arterial in accordance with the circulation element of the general plan. The circulation element identifies this street as having a predominant use character of community and regional commercial, which is compatible with the operation of the Hookah Lounge restaurant and its conditional use permit request. They have a full-service kitchen where everything is prepared fresh and delivered by wait staff at the table. The C3 zoning designation permits the service of beer and wine with the conditional approval that we seek today. Why will the proposed use and its associated structures and facilities not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or general welfare, or to the environment? The conditions that you would impose will ensure that the operation of this restaurant and the service of beer and wine for on-site consumption will be in strict accordance with the requirements of the code and not be detrimental to the public health, safety, general welfare, or to the environment. Your conditions will promote compliance, but the owners have proposed further measures to ensure that there will be no detriment. This objective will be achieved by the addition of 1 more certified security guard, verifying minimum age requirement for drinking alcoholic beverages. Driver's licenses will be electronically scanned at the door. These changes will eliminate the possibility of inadvertent service to any underage person. In addition, the State of California Alcoholic Beverage Control has a program called LEAD, Licensee Education on Alcohol and Drugs. The mission of the LEAD program is to provide high-quality, effective, and educationally sound training on alcohol responsibility and the law. The program is optional, and the proprietors of the Hookah Lounge have committed to attending the LEAD program training for themselves and for key staff to further ensure absolute compliance with the law. Additionally, all patrons will receive food at their table. It will still be a full-service restaurant. Why will the proposed use and facilities not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede the normal development of surrounding property? The full-service restaurant is existing and has not adversely affected or conflicted with adjacent uses. Since it is existing in an area that is fully built out, there's no chance of it impeding development of surrounding property. Extra security services on the property will ensure peace and quiet in the surrounding neighborhood. We would propose to continue providing security services during all hours of operation. Security currently effectively monitors areas outside of the facility and off of the premises to ensure orderliness, safety, and traffic control arriving and exiting patrons and to the adjacent neighborhood. An additional security guard will better monitor the interior of the restaurant. And explain how adequate public and private facilities such as utilities, landscaping, parking spaces, and traffic circulation measures are or will be provided for the proposed use. Adequate utilities, landscaping, and parking exist to the site to conform to the City of Glendale's code requirements. This request is for permission to serve beer and wine for on-site consumption in a full-service restaurant. Therefore, no changes will occur to the demand for utilities, to parking spaces, or traffic. Improved streets are adjacent to the project area and provide adequate access. The typical limited time period for renewal of the conditional use permit will also provide opportunities for the city to ensure the adequate maintenance and operation within the law at all times. The applicants operate their business to the highest standards and would continue to do so with the grant of this conditional use permit. The current hours of operation are from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., which is compatible with the hours of adjacent uses, causing no conflict. Future plans include offering a lunch menu from Monday through Saturday. Do you have any questions at this point?
A few
Okay,
or many.
all right.
Is there an existing or any existing discretionary approval on this property?
Do
they have any
zoning use
existing-
certificate for full-service restaurants?
CUP, nothing?
No.
No variances? Whatever, okay. And you've partially answered my questions about business number of days they're open to the public,
Yes,
Monday to Saturday,
yes.
and the hours of operation?
Right now, they're 6 p.m. to 2 a.m.
But they're contemplating opening for lunch.
for lunch.
That's one of the reasons I've never been to this place,
Right.
because they're not open for
You know,
lunch.
I've often wanted to go for lunch, actually.
So they're going to open
The
for
shish
lunch?
kebab is to die for.
I know,
Yes.
I was going to go there for lunch. Okay, and what's the capacity inside the restaurant, the lounge? Number of people that they can sit
Oh.
inside the lounge? Is there
I
someone
would be
here?
taking a guess. As you can see on
They
the...
have some
it's a-
drawings here,
it's a
but that's a
bench.
representation. Uh-huh.
It's a bench that goes all the way around.
Okay.
So however many people can be seated along, it's just an open bench. They're not individual seats.
And that's
inside.
when they serve food and dinner or something?
Yes.
The hookah, all of the smoking and everything is happening outside, right? And what's the capacity they have outside?
Outside,
About,
golly,
Ballpark. If not, I
Do you know
can,
how many tables you have outside? 12 to 15 tables outside,
times 4,
times maybe 4,
maybe, let's say 40 to 50.
yes.
And number of employees they have from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. You're going to have to fill out one of the speaker's card, if
Not
not,
as many during the week, but on the weekends, maybe 5 employees.
and how long have they been in business?
4 years.
4 years. I also remember approving the hookah lounge, the smoking permit for this. I think one of the conditions we impose is no smoking indoor, but everything should be happening outdoor because of the smoking ban from the state first, and now it's the city's ordinance. So I want to make that very clear. And I do intend to visit the place before I issue any decision.
Okay.
There's 2 things happening here. Number 1, which is going to make this a very tough case. Number 1, the area or the census tract is really oversaturated. The good thing is, in checking with police department and their police records or call for services, there's only one call, and it's for a loud music, but no report or no arrest, no nothing was taken. It became a dead
Right.
case. So I think,
They're very careful about their operation. I've
yeah,
been
to
there a
only have
couple of times to check.
one call a year, that's really low. So that kind of balance the my decision making, because I really take the over concentration and the crime rate into my decision making process. So that kind of balance it. If they can keep it the way it is with this additional service, then that'll be good. But sometimes when you add alcohol into the mixture,
Right.
that's when everything
Well,
starts.
as you know, all commercial establishments that sell or
But-
serve beer and wine have to be located in these commercial areas, and so you would tend to have an overconcentration. They have to sort of be concentrated.
The other thing is, I've always wondered about the white mesh with the picket fence, with the fence. Because if we're trying to make this more like pedestrian friendly or open to the public, I would prefer being able to see through and maybe some plants instead of, that white thing all over the wrought iron fence. I'd like to discuss that also with you, because like if you look at, I don't mean to mention any restaurant's name, but Rafi's,
Mhm.
the way they have their wrought iron, you can see through, you can, enjoy
They
the
have
view.
hookah at Rafi's.
No, not hookah, but they have outdoor dining in between the two buildings, but you can see what's happening really, in the entire indoor or outdoor. So I'd like to discuss that also, or, depending on the decision. Let me see what. You have a full-service restaurant, you have a full-service kitchen.
Yes.
They've been in business for 4 years. They're willing to add one security guard.
That's correct.
Okay.
That could be a condition.
Okay. That'll be good. Thank you. Okay, who's gonna be Dower? Gervais?
Dower?
Who's this? Okay.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Fuentes.
Good morning.
Dower J. Gervais
Okay.
with Williams Land Use Services at 2418 Honolulu. A couple things I did want to clarify that Janelle did bring up. The hours of operation, the days of operation.
Okay.
7 days a week currently from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. The staff, there are at least 4 servers at all time. The business is open, 2 kitchen staff,
Okay.
full-time. The white mesh is gone from the fence area. The proprietors have been making improvements. They have added natural bamboo. Also, there's 10 existing palm trees in pots, movable, but they do remain in place. They're well-maintained. 7 new plants have been added, and 6 new blooming jasmine plants have been added
Okay.
to add to both the attractiveness from the outside as well as the inside. The amount of servers and staff of the hookah lounge does not include the 2 additional security, or the 2 security officers. One will be inside, one will be outside.
Okay.
Okay?
And like I said, I'd like to. I tried a couple of times to go there, but they're closed, and I'll be heading home, after 6. So I want to if I can make an appointment with you when I can visit the place during the daytime. So they'll
Invite you to do that.
Thank you.
Okay. thank you.
Okay. Now I would like to speak first. Juan Pablo Schultz.
Hi, Ms. Fuentes. My name is Juan Pablo Schultz. I live at 826 East Colorado Street, across the street from the Hook Lounge. It is a commercial area, but my father has bought the house in the 60s before it was a commercial area. It's this property right over here.
Just don't touch the
I won't
screen.
touch it.
Point it.
This is our house right here.
Okay.
My mother and my 84-year-old grandma live right here. My mom's business is right in front. I live in the back here,
Okay.
and all the way in the back of the
You can
property
go
line-
back
Thank you.
there.
All the way in the property line, I can hear their noise till 3 in the morning. So right there, I would argue that this business is detrimental to the public welfare and health of the neighborhood. They conflict adversely with the people that live in the neighborhood. Just 2 days ago, I was talking to a lady that lives directly across from the hookah lounge. She couldn't make it today because she has a college exam. Her name's Silva. She's a very nice lady. She broke down in tears and was crying to me because the noise was so bad. I would argue against that the police have only been called one time. They've been called many times. The one report that you have, it was only the one time somebody pressed charges. That's really why they made a report. The police get called out.
I just want to make that
Yes, ma'am.
very clear. It says resulted in no report or no record. So
Ma'am,
I can only read to you what I have. I'm here to get facts and find
Please
you
talk
know,
to
facts.
Officer O'Brien. She'd be more than happy to talk to you. We've called her many times. It's sort of bad when you're on a first-name basis with the police officers in the neighborhood because you call them so many times because the noise is so bad. It's horrible that you have to call the owners, and the owners harassing you, asking you where you live. You know, I've gone over with the police. I've talked to this gentleman here in the back. He's the owner. And he's always very nice. He's always cheerful. And, you know, if the music will stop for a couple days, or it'll go down for a couple days. 3 days later, the music starts.
You mean after 1 a.m.?
Oh, ma'am, it's
still
till
pretty-
3 in the morning.
Okay.
And I would also argue that they did take the white mesh down, and they replaced it with a higher bamboo mesh. Go over there today, Ms. Fuentes.
I will.
I would love for you to see
Like
it.
I said, I tried, but
Ms. Fuentes, with all due respect, I would love to invite you to come over to my house.
I will do that too.
No, ma'am, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
You can't sleep at night. My brother is trying to go to school, and it's negatively affecting him because he has to study with earplugs. He can't go to sleep at night. My mother and my grandma can't sleep at night because of these people, and it's hard not to be angry.
Is that grandma over
This is
here?
Grandma here, and they're both, my grandmother became a citizen 2 years ago, my mother became a citizen this year. We've lived in this neighborhood our family's lived in this neighborhood for 40 years, ma'am. 40 years. And these people have been detrimental to the public health and welfare of this neighborhood. Just in the 1 block radius from the 800 block to the 900 block, we have 4 banquet halls that serve alcohol. I don't know if they sell it, but they do allow it. The banquet hall next to me is a very nice gentleman. Also,
You're going to have to wrap up, Mr.
no
Schultz.
problem. I'm
Okay.
more than happy to. We have 2 liquor stores,
And,
1 bar, but just to say that they have a capacity of 40 people, but they have 8 parking spots, so the people will park across the street in front of my house, drink, throw beer bottles, throw cigarettes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will contact you also. And just for clarification purposes and also for your information, you have a residence in a commercial zone.
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, you are a non-conforming. You're legal. I'm not saying anything negative about that, but just for point of clarification, you are a legal, non-conforming residential zone in a commercial zone. And I don't need to go back and forth. I'm just giving you some information, and I'm letting you know what's happening is just, you know, as far as zoning is concerned, it's a C3 zone all along in front or Colorado, and behind that is the multi-family zone. So just, I understand where you're coming from. You've been there 40 years, and this business has been there 4 or 5 years, and I'm really glad to hear, you know, some of the issues or concerns that you have. And I took note of your mentioning the Glendale Police Departments being called more than once. I'm going to ask them to look into that again and make a note of that for our record, okay? Ada Schultz, is this the mother or?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Ada Schultz. I live in Glendale since 1975. My concern is that I see Glendale growing. It's beautiful. I see that it's changed a lot, and I am very happy for that, but enough is enough. Like my son say, in the 800 block, We have a 4 banquet hall. We have a 2 liquor store. We have 1 bar, and now we have I say nightclub because the other banquet hall I think they had a business till 2 o'clock in the morning, but this thing going on all night alone, almost all night alone. By the time they finish cleaning everything, it's almost 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I have my son that is going to school, graduated from Cal State, and his grade go down because he can sleep. He work and go to school, and I think that enough is enough. So I like to hear that take in consideration that I pay my taxes, I live there for years, and I think we also have the right to have some privacy and some less noises. And I think with alcohol beverage, we increase the young kids to drink, and like my son said, I like to invite you to sleep one night in my house, and you can hear those cars running like 45 minutes per hour. They don't care who's crossing the street or people. I get to a point that they hit an Armenian old man. I walk very fast from across the street and with a white towel to stop a car passing by him or kill him. So it's very disturbing. And that's why I'm here today, that you get a consideration about the noises, the cigarette thing on the floor. Every morning I get my broom and clean the street with all those cigarettes residues, and I think we need to consider this alcohol beverage. Too much noises. Enough for now. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else here who would like to speak in support or in opposition to this application? Closing comments, Ms. Williams?
Well, it hasn't been shown that the traffic problems are caused by the Hookah Lounge restaurant, and I would really like to see the police reports that were generated as a result of all these calls. I suspect that and I believe him that he called the police several times. However, I also believe that if a report was generated, it was probably from some of these other uses, from the bar, the banquet halls, and so forth. With the exception of fast food restaurants, a majority of the restaurants operating in the city of Glendale do provide alcoholic beverage service in conjunction with the service of meals, such as our request in this case. The ability to have an alcoholic beverage with meals is an anticipated amenity in conjunction with the serving of food. Patrons have been requesting beer and wine since Hookah Lounge opened its doors in 2005. The commercial establishments that serve or sell alcoholic beverages must be located in commercially zoned areas of the city. And as such, there would tend to be a bit of an over-concentration. But the use fulfills a cultural need in the community, whereby responsible on-site sales would enhance the operation and address the patrons' requests and complement this cuisine. Your standard conditions of approval added to those that we have suggested will ensure a well-run establishment that meets the public necessity and convenience. Again, I would be interested to see the police report or the police record of calls in this area. I have no other comments. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We will be happy to open the restaurant for you at any time.
No, I don't have any further questions, and I just want to put on the record that we also have received petitions from some of the customers, and I'm not sure if there are neighbors in this signature, but there's about 128 signatures and some handwritten support letters. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that, I'm going to go ahead, take this case under submission, and close the public hearing at, thank you very much for coming, and close the public hearing at 10:36 in the morning. Thank you.